There's fallout tonight after a tense confrontation on the floor of the Minnesota House with the legislative session ending Sunday night.
Thank you. Think of them, not yourself. How about that?
But there are different opinions about what was just said right then. Tonight, Pilar Pedraza is following the repercussions in St. Paul.
It was a few minutes after the debate had ended when tempers erupted on the House floor. What happened next depends on who you speak with, but it could have a long-term impact on at least one lawmaker.
Think of them, not yourself. How about that?
Multiple videos showed up on social media overnight of a confrontation between two Minnesota state representatives on the House floor. First, a blurry video shot from the other side of the room and posted by a Republican representative saying Democrat Representative Aisha Gomez told fellow Representative Elliot Engen, "Go expletive, kill himself." Engen shared the post saying he didn't have, quote, multiple Democrat colleagues yelling at him to go expletive, shoot myself on his bingo card. Democrats later shared two clips of their own videos, much closer, where only one phrase can be heard clearly.
Think of them, not yourself. How about that?
In a written statement, Gomez called the Republican allegations a, quote, total fabrication of my actual words. In response to a post on X about this story from KSTP political reporter Tom Hauser, Engen said the incident happened in the first 10 seconds of the confrontation, adding, typically you don't think to have a live body cam on your colleagues. House Republicans are calling on DFL leaders to remove Gomez as chair of the tax committee. On NPR, House Speaker Lisa Demuth said she'd heard from several witnesses who supported Engen's versions of events. Afterward, she told KSTP, lawmakers have a responsibility to conduct themselves professionally.
We have a responsibility as legislators in the way we conduct ourselves, even when votes don't go the same or how we would like them to go. There's a responsibility and a level of respect that needs to be shown within the chamber and the work that we do. That is not what we saw.
But Democratic leadership stood firmly behind Gomez.
I want to be clear that the video evidence of what happened last night is very clear that there was no violent rhetoric from Chair Gomez. There's absolutely no reason to remove from the committee, and frankly, it's a distraction.
Democratic Representative Zach Stevenson says the Democratic leadership stands behind Gomez. We reached out to both Engen and Gomez for this story. Gomez media contact told us the representative would likely be too busy with committee hearings, and we never heard back again. I haven't heard back from Engen at all, but he has responded to some of political reporter Tom Hauser's tweets on this story, accusing Democrats of clipping the video before releasing it. We have spent much of the day trying to find other versions of the video we've been told are out there, but haven't found any yet. Pilar Pedraza, 5 Eyewitness News.
And after that confrontation last night, DFL lawmakers took a stand, or they actually sat down to push for a vote in the House on gun safety legislation. And right now, their sit-in protest continues behind closed doors in the House chamber. Our 5 Eyewitness News camera got this video within the last half hour. DFLers say they will be there for another 18 hours until tomorrow at noon. When the House reconvenes, they're asking Speaker Demuth for a vote before the session ends at midnight Sunday.